Hey traders, and welcome to the Strategy Lab video. My name is Alexander Nikitin, and in today's video I will talk about pattern invalidation rules. Okay, first of all, you should understand the difference between the invalidated pattern and the pattern that didn't work. So what is the difference? Suppose this is the pattern, everything is ideal, and you opened your trade at, let's say, this time. Yes, so you opened your trade when the price came here and you placed your stop loss. Basically, we have a higher probability for price to give you a bounce, at least to test the B point, rather than it crosses to violate the X point. Yes, so basically we have 30 versus 70 of this situation. So the decline is more preferable, but sometimes it doesn't work and it goes to the upside. Why it is not invalid? Because it simply didn't work. Invalidation presupposes the identification, and when you place your trade, this means that the identification step is over, that everything already is ideal. So it is everything that to the left from you placing the trade. But what happens after that has nothing to do with identification. It is trade management, trade execution and management. The pattern already completed, it cannot be invalidated if it completed. If it is already ideal, the result of your trade does not affect the pattern. Basically, the identification and trade execution are not connected. The pattern is not connected to your trade. Pattern is a drawing, trade is a trade. You can place a trade according to the pattern, or you cannot place a trade according to the pattern. Pattern simply indicates a higher probability of something happening over another, but this indication should obey some identification rules. I don't say about this X to A to B to C point ratios, the impulses, the size of these legs, the structure of these legs or something. I am only talking about this final movement today. I'm only talking about the C to D leg. Okay. Obviously, if XA is not okay, AB, BC is not okay, the pattern will not be drawn. The pattern is only drawn when you have your X, your A, your B, and C. When you have this price, this price, this price, and this price okay. When you have them all okay, then you calculate the D point, potential reversal point. You do not take it from your chart, you calculate that. And still price has to move from C to D. You basically need to look at the price action within C to D to understand if you should enter the trade or you should not. Now let's talk about the invalidation rules, and then we will go into some chart examples. So as I told you, the X to A should be okay, the A to B should be okay, C to D should be okay. Yes? And the pattern can be drawn. X, A, B, and C. So these are charting points. They are charting prices taken from the chart. And this D point is always potential. You never know the future. That's why it is calculated price. Okay. Price still has to move from C to D. It can move straight. Then it's okay. The pattern is ideal, the pattern is valid. But this happens rarely. This doesn't happen very often. First, what can happen is this. Price starts the movement and you suppose that the C point is already completed. Yes, it doesn't go deeper, it is completed, and it's not invalidated the A point. Yes, okay. But then price may reverse here and exceed this C point, like this. After that it goes to completion. So should you place your trade? Well, in this situation you should compare new C point, I will call it C point 1, and A point. If this new C point does not exceed A point, then it is okay. Let us see. It didn't. It stays above. That's why this new C point is okay. And the pattern in this case should be drawn this way. You simply have the zigzag within B to C leg. Well, this rule is pretty obvious, and this one is okay. Another rule is as follows. It is a bit different. It happens when we violate the B point, we exceed the B point, and then price goes and exceeds the C point. And there are three variations of these rules. The first one is a general variation. The first one. The second one is a conservative variation. And the third one, I call it an early completion variation of this rule. So in this situation, when price exceeds the B and then it is exceeding the C, we have this way. First of all, what you should understand. If you exceed the C point, you have new C point. Let me call it C1. First of all, you should measure if your new C point, just imagine price goes to completion, if your new C point goes below A point. No, it doesn't. It stays above. Yes? So this means that the C point is okay. New C point is okay. Then you need to find the highest between A and C. Between A and C. And the highest is this. So this is your new B point. This is mandatory to find the highest between A and B. And in this case, you redraw your pattern this way. You see? So you have the zigzag within A to B leg. A to B leg has a zigzag. It's okay for patterns. And of course, this B point should stay within the ratios. So if you say the B point should be 618, yes, and this B1 is 786, not 618, then it is not a Gartley anymore. It is maybe a butterfly, but the Gartley is invalidated. Okay, you should also keep in mind the ratios. Okay, and conservative way of this invalidation is using channels. So we simply draw the channel from A to C like this. Let me adjust that from here to here like this. Yes, and price should not break the channel. It may exceed that channel slightly, but it should not break the channel. So if it goes this way, the channel is broken. The A to C movement, the A to C trend line is broken. Instead of channel, of course, you can use the trend line. Okay, in this case, for conservative traders, those traders who like symmetry, this is considered invalidated at this point, somewhere at this point where the breakout happens. So you should not enter if you have it. Okay, if you are not a conservative trader, if you don't care about symmetry, for example, me, I don't care about symmetry because I never found any proof for this to work better than something else. I simply use the first rule, the general rule. Okay, another situation that is kind of variation of this general rule is that when we have price coming close to the D point and then we'll have a retracement, That is enough to hit some targets. What is enough to hit some targets is this: to test the B point, or to test the 382 of A to D, or whatever you use for your targets. So if price came close to your entry and it hit your targets and then it reversed, so basically this is already the pattern that hit some targets, and you should not enter it for the second time. Okay, how do you decide? You should measure this distance between your reversal and your calculation. I'm using 5% rule from A to D. So if it is within the 5% rule, then the pattern is invalidated. I also added a Fibonacci level to this to measure 5%, and let me show it to you. It looks this way when I draw it. Okay, this is 0 and this is minus 5%. So you see the A to D, come on, go here. The D point stays above that 5% buffer. That's why I would enter that. When it completes, I would enter like this. Okay, so these are the three main rules. First one, the C point actually does not exceed A. The second one, when the B point is exceeded and the C point exceeded, you should recalculate the B point. If the B point is okay, then the pattern is okay. And the early completion, if it stays within these 5%, then it's okay. Sorry, if it stays within the 5%, then it was an early completion. If it exceeds the 5%, then it is something that should be avoided. Let's go to history to find some trades on history. And we will start from what? Okay, let us start from this butterfly advanced formation. Okay, the pattern was drawn. This means that this point, this point, this point, and this point are okay. And here's the completion of the pattern. Yes. Okay, cannot be that much precise. Here's the completion of the pattern. And you see when the movement started, we had the movement to the downside like this. And then we had kind of reversal, spiking to the upside. This is it. The upside movement. Okay. Should you avoid the pattern because it had a bounce? Just measure the distance. And if we measure the distance from here to here, I see that the completion takes place much beyond that 5% buffer. That's why I would enter this trade according to my rules. I won't skip that. Wouldn't skip this pattern. Okay, the next pattern is this one. It is a unified godly. It goes here. As I told you, it gave small reaction to the upside to test some level. Okay, then it consolidated and broke to the downside. This pattern is ideal, and it is nothing but simply something that didn't work. Okay, another situation is this butterfly pattern. Obviously this pattern worked perfectly. From this point, just touched that and then went to hit targets. This bounced to the upside enough to hit targets. So you see that with your eyes. Another situation is this butterfly. Obviously, yes. The first one gave a small bounce to the upside, yes, from here to here, 43 pips. But this one actually gave a great reversal. If you were trailing stop, you could have greater targets than placing that take profit. Okay, here with this situation, This is the B point, like this, and from here to here we had an upside movement of 11 pips. So this could be the movement, the bounce of that target. Depending on your target, of course, you should stretch your 3, 2 or whatever levels and calculate if it was invalidated. Okay, let us stretch the Fibonacci, and it says that no, my first target is this one, 33.59 Fibonacci retracement, but not Fibonacci, and it was not hit, and then it goes to the downside. Okay, this one was valid and it simply didn't work. This one obviously didn't complete, like this, yes. And of course, after all that price action, if it goes to that level, you should not enter this. This one here, very nice situation, a butterfly. It goes 1, 2, 3, everything is okay. Enter here or whatever, enter a bit higher, it doesn't matter how you enter. The stop loss is above that level. You see the stop loss was not hit, and then you have all that movement to the upside to hit your targets. Okay, this one, what about this? This one, blue, didn't complete the unified gauntlet. This one, gray, didn't complete. Of course, you should not enter this after that. And this one, it moves sideways, yes, and then it moves to the upside like this, and then exceeds. So should you exit this butterfly, assuming that the pattern should be this way, like this? Just check it. So what you first need to check is if it exceeds the A point. So the B point doesn't. It does not exceed the A point. None of the C point exceed that. Then you should calculate this. We have new B point here, and we should calculate if this new B point is okay. To do that, I will simply use manual identification tool from here to here. You see, it says that the butterfly was okay, although it projects very far away in future. We don't actually pay attention to time. What we need is price. The price is 94.33, so here we hit that price of 94.33. Another thing that we need to calculate is maybe this movement hit some target from here to this low. You see, from this high to the next candle low. We just need to calculate that, and no, it's not enough to hit targets. That's why it was stop loss. This movement was simply a stop loss, and then it reversed to the downside. Well, that's it about pattern invalidations. Hope you understood the 3 main rules of how you decided the pattern is invalid or not. Because the fact that the pattern is drawn by the MPS5 pattern recognition software does not mean that you should trade this pattern. Okay, you can also create your own rules that can filter the patterns, and you should backtest them. You should be sure that your filters filter losers and they not filter winners. At least they should filter more losers than winners. Okay guys, hope you liked this video. If so, give me a thumbs up, share this video on social media. Until then, good luck and good trading. Hope to see you soon.